Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Chitlin. You're listening to Hey Pal, What's New with JohnAlex and Greg. Hey Pal, What's New is a GBR production. Follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and all other social media platforms. Hey Pal, What's New can be found on Spotify, Twitch, YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google, Podbean, Pandora, and all your other favorite podcast locations. Warning, Hey Pal, What's New contains explicit content. JohnAlex and Greg are a pair of vulgar Gen Xers. If you are easily offended, please stop listening and go download a nice tame podcast like the Goop Podcast. You have been warned. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Mimi the Magnificent. No, I'm dead.
Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe?
It's like she didn't want to hand it to me. She's like, she literally like teased me. She's like, no, I'm going to give it to Greg instead.
Well, I was trying to get a smoocheroo there, pal.
Oh.
Hey, everybody, and all the ships at sea. It's Hey, pal, what's new? I'm Greg, and that's JohnAlex over there, and we are live Friday night. Friday night. Hanging in the GBR.
Is it JohnAlex or is it Andor?
It could be Andor. And we'll get to Andor. Don't you worry, kids. We got lots of stuff to talk about. Lots of movies we saw. We took a little break last week. We decided to go on a date. We went on a date, and we saw a couple movies. We're going to talk about the movies. So much television. A lot of music stuff that's going on. You would think it's 1992 when you're going to hear all the stuff that came out. Yeah, it's
new from Huey Lewis in the news.
Yeah. Hey, you heard about that new band, Skid Row? Yeah, we're back. It's Friday night. I got my girl here with me. I got my my man-child over here, and everything is all good in the hood, man. So I guess we're going to start it off with our usual, hey, pal, what's new with you today? How was your week? How was your 2 weeks? Right. Was it okay?
I think my job is killing me.
Yeah, you and me both, pal.
My fucking mold and mildew and disgustingness in my classroom.
I haven't seen the pictures, but I heard.
Everybody who walks in my room comes in and goes, "Oh, it smells like a basement."
Oh, really?
Yeah, I said, when you go to like a yard sale and they're like, "Oh, there's stuff in the house in the basement. Go look." And you go down, and you're like, "Oh man, it smells down here."
It smells like it should have wood paneling on the walls, right?
It's so bad.
Do you have a dehumidifier or something you can put in there?
Nope, they got like an air conditioner and an air cleaner that they just go full blast. And it's like you're trying to teach class, and all I hear is the white noise, like zzzz. I'm like, Jesus, I have to turn it off. It's like and then it starts. It's like, I think the sound just distracts you. And everybody who comes in, like I said, says it's so bad. I'm like, I'm so ingrained in this. It's like I can't even smell it anymore.
Yeah, wow, yeah. It's like you pray for COVID.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't want to smell anything. Which one of the TV shows that I'm going to be talking about this week. It's all about smells.
Yeah,
it's ooh.
It's either that or my tumor's getting bigger. It's like, tumor, just knock out your smell.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, when did I have COVID? Like July or August?
I don't know, but
it was July. It was like mid-July, end of July. I'm still September, almost October. I'm still kind of. Actually, my ear finally unclogged.
Kat talks all the time about the fact that like stuff just doesn't taste the same anymore.
Yeah, I mean, my smell has always been bad because I've been blowing smoke out of my nose for 40 years. So, I can't smell shit.
If you want, I'll cut a gasser. We can test it.
Don't
mine are freaking stinky right now.
Because you brought those freaking vegan burritos again.
But I didn't eat the burrito. I ate the little vegan pot pie.
Oh,
the burrito's in the freezer.
That's even worse.
It's probably because I ate that vegan jerky.
Oh,
That's that vegan jerky that whenever I eat it, like my pee smells like the jerky for days.
Isn't it funny? The healthier you eat, like the worse your ass
It's
smells.
not healthy. It's just as processed. Just nobody had to die for it.
That's true. Yeah, no animals were harmed, but at the same
Only
time.
factory workers.
Yeah. You might find a finger in there or something like that. Yeah, man. I mean, as far as like my week went, it was pretty much the same. The Critically Ashamed did get into the rehearsal studio for the first time
got a
in
gig coming up, don't
months.
you?
Yes, October 8th on Saturday. which we will post on our face.
Saturday.
I told someone about your upcoming gig. Didn't know the day. I was like, got a gig coming up real soon, blah, blah, blah. And he just looks at me and goes, yeah.
Yeah,
you had mentioned, I'm ratting it out. You had mentioned him before. He doesn't listen to the show.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's coming. You might have them over this weekend.
Oh.
And I told him, he's like, yeah. Just deadpan looked at me. I was like, okay, I guess you're not. He's like, nah.
Yeah, yeah. But no, we're playing at the Sugar Hollow Tap Room in Danbury on October 8th. We're closing out the show. It's part of Connecticut Fall Fest. But I'll put the invite on our Hey Pal What's New in case there's some crossover there. Come say hi. Hopefully my hetero life mate will come to the show. It should be fun.
I pray.
Yeah, we're not playing till like 11 o'clock at night, so plenty of time.
Get my brother over there.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, it was the first time we got in the room together to play in like months.
Right.
It seemed like months because we kind of took a break. Everybody was dealing with other stuff and everything's been busy. So we're like, hey, we got this gig coming up and we're going to record a new album in the winter. Maybe we should get together and practice.
You think?
And we did. And oddly enough, we sounded really good. So I was shocked. I was like, man, we should take a couple months off more often.
That's talent for you.
I guess. And, working from home on Wednesdays is good because I have practice Wednesday nights and I'm not freaking exhausted because I'm chilling out. I'm chilling with my girl on Wednesday. So, yeah, that was pretty much the only thing is we got one of my all-time favorites.
I had a student in class today. I don't get it. So he walks in. He always has aviator sunglasses on, this kid. And he walks in today. He's got aviator sunglasses and a bucket hat.
What is he fucking in the New Radicals? What's
no. And I just looked at him. I was like, "Yo, what's up there, Hunter Thompson?" And he's like, "What?" And I was like,
"Who's that?"
He's like, "Exactly." I was like, "Oh, is he was a writer. He wrote for Rolling Stone." He's like, "The Rolling Stones?" I was like, "No, Rolling Stone, the magazine." He goes, "Okay." I was like, "They made a movie about him. It's called Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas." He goes, "Yeah, how long ago did it come out?" I was like, I don't know, like 90-something. It was Johnny Depp. He's like, yeah, that's like 30 years old. Why would I know that? I was like, so you don't fucking watch anything that wasn't made today?
Oh, yeah. I mean, well, that's the whole reason we're seeing remakes and reboots and shit like that because, God forbid, a kid watches a movie from 20, 30 years ago.
Right.
I mean, at the same time, when I think about it, like when I was a teenager, that would be the equivalent of like movies from the 1950s or 40s. Yeah. Which, I watched 66 Batman. I thought it was the best thing in the world in the 70s and 80s. Yeah. Still think it's great. Classic movies, But if it's like somebody going, yeah, did you, as a teenager being like, did you watch Casablanca?
No.
Like, no.
I still haven't.
Really?
Yeah.
Late to the party episode coming soon. I'm getting on the...
no Casablanca, no, what's that other one?
Citizen Kane.
Keep going, because I've never fucking seen them.
Really? Harold and Maude?
Nope.
Really? Oh, that's a good one.
What's that one? I don't know nothing about Birth and No Babies. Song of the South. No, that's different. That's fucking Disney's racism at its best.
Shh, we have a copy of it somewhere.
I got a digital copy. You got it on VHS.
No, I don't have it on VHS. I got it on DVD.
Gone with the Wind. I've never seen it.
Really? Okay. That's but that's the thing. Like when we were teenagers, those movies were out, and like, what's that? She's having some chips. Leave her alone.
She's rolling the bag.
Sorry. It's fine. People love podcast noises. They do. That's why they missed the crickets and the bug zapper. But we didn't do that this time. But yeah. So I mean, I get it, but at the same time, being the older statesman now, it's like. Kids do that. Like I remember one time when this is even longer time ago, back in the day, as they say. Damn it, we're old. We are. When I used to manage drugstores, I used to manage Drug World in New City, and all the kids would work. They were like 14, 15 years old, 16. They used to call me G-Spot. Yo, what up, G-Spot? And I remember.
Where's the G-Spot? He's at work.
Yeah. But, they would always tease me. They'd be like, do you listen to anything that's like current? I was like, what do you think? I listen to Bread? Like, no, I'm pretty much up to date. But across the street from the pharmacy, they had a bar, and the name of the bar was called the Regal Beagle. And I was like, oh my God, there's a bar called the Regal Beagle. And they're like, what the hell is that?
Three's Company.
Like, yeah, come and knock on our door. Come on, you're supposed to freaking back me up. We've been waiting for you. We've been waiting for you. Where the kisses are hers and his. Three's Company too. But they were fat. They were like, what's the... And I'm like, oh, no.
Sorry, my throat is cracky today. I've been freaking breathing in mold all week.
That's right.
Old
asbestos lungs.
I feel like I have a sinus infection and like everything.
Is it like when you blow your nose, it's like black?
No.
Okay. Well, that's good. That's a good sign.
Like lemon lime. So yeah, that's my week.
Yeah.
Uncultured kids and mold.
Yeah, and mine is.
I think I just found the name of this episode: Uncultured Kids and Mold.
Perfect, and that could be the name of the new album.
and go for it. And I feel like that's the one thing I did right with my kids, because like, especially with Manny, it's like you talk about like music, and he's like, he knows older music and movies. Most older movies he knows. There's a couple I like. Hey, did you do this? He's like, I haven't seen that. And I was like, what? You haven't seen it? He goes, Dad, I don't know it, like, unless you show it to me.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, you got to watch that. Like, he's watched Platoon.
Oh, you have to.
Like, he knows all those movies, so.
Yeah, those are kind of like.
He loves the Hunter Thompson movie. He loves Hunter Thompson. And I'm like, have you ever seen Where the Buffalo Roam? He goes, what's that? And I go, that's basically Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, but from the 80s starring Bill Murray.
Yeah. That's a classic.
And most people don't know that movie.
Yeah, that was kind of that was like the early days of VHS. Like when you could go rent at a video store. It was like, what the hell is Where the Buffalo Roam? But yeah, that's... So anyway, now that we've recapped our lives, and we're going to get... Like I said, we got a ton of movies to talk about, ton of TV.
Not much news.
Not much news, but we're going to give it a shot anyway. You want to do that? Let's do that.
John, you got any news?
Do you?
I do. Not much. The only thing I cared about in the news that I've heard even like in the past 2 weeks was, and someone's going to be like, what about this? What about that? But
well, comment, share, subscribe, for God's sakes.
I'm super excited. It's like bittersweet that they're doing a John Constantine 2 movie with Keanu Reeves. It's bittersweet because now the John Constantine TV show has been put on hold.
Whoa.
Which I'm upset about. Because I feel like, look, I'm going to get shit for this one. The Keanu Reeves John Constantine movie was okay.
No, I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good.
But the TV show was so much fucking better.
See, I didn't watch the TV show.
And that guy who plays him on the TV show, it's like that's who I've associated with. I don't associate John Constantine with Keanu Reeves. I associate with the guy that's on the TV show. Especially because when...
well, he was more true to the comic book character than Keanu Reeves was.
Right.
I mean, it was a cool... The Keanu Reeves one was, I think underrated. Not like, oh my God, you have to see it. But it was good. But when you read the comic book and you look at the TV show, you're like, oh, that's John Constantine. That's John Constantine. It should be interesting. I mean, he's, Keanu's having a renaissance. But he keeps going back to the well with, all of a sudden he did Bill and Ted, and he did another Matrix movie, and he's got the John Wick stuff, which is,
Then he did Cyberpunk 2077, the video game that bombed horribly.
Oh yeah. So he's doing like what I like to call the Rocky Stallone, as my Aunt Denise would say.
Okay.
Going back to the well. All right, well, what can I dust off here? Rocky? Okay. Rambo? Okay. Expendables? Sure. Okay, we'll do those. And people will go see it, it's got my money, I guess.
They always got sometimes they got my money.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's, bet for.
Yeah.
Bet for slots. The only other piece of news that that even interests me was the fact that the Game of Thrones original series is getting more streams and action right now than the new show is.
What did you see? Well, House of the Dragon, I think they said this week it's averaging about 26 million views.
Right.
Which, Game of Thrones, I think at one point was like double that.
Yeah, at least.
I mean, like I said, the big joke is I've never watched Game of Thrones, but I have been watching House of the Dragon. Love it.
Right.
Love it. And I can't wait for the time jump this Sunday.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be weird. I hate when shows do things like that only because, like, now there's a new actress in there, and it's like,
yeah,
they don't have the same mannerisms or they're not matching what the other one is. And it's like,
It depends. Yeah, it depends on the.
It's gonna take me out of it. It's gonna take me a while to restart catching up to who's playing who.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, so far, yeah, I am bummed that Rhaenyra is not going to be the same Rhaenyra. She was good. As long as I got my prince. As long as my prince is still okay, Damon. Love me some Damon.
Love me some Matt Smith.
Dude, he is the best.
But that's like the guy that Rhaenyra's marrying.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've seen clips of next week's episode, and it's like it took me like 10 minutes to realize, oh my god, that's the guy she married. Oh my bad.
Oh yeah, see, I didn't watch it
because they look so different. Like sometimes they get an actor that like when you see it, you're like, okay, I could see that's him grown up or her grown up a little bit more.
Yeah.
But this, just feels like.
And the king is still alive at this point, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like
he's falling apart, but
he was falling apart. He dropped, spoiler alert, but like he dropped on the floor at the wedding thing.
Dante and Randall.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, we got to talk about that movie.
So that's my news for the week. Here you go. I feel like also we got a lot to talk about.
Sure do.
John, you got any news?
The only thing I was going to add to that is I did see something, and I posted it on our Facebook page.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing another Karate Kid movie.
Oh, my God.
And it's not even related to the Cobra Kai stuff.
Stop.
Yeah, it's like, what are they going to... I don't even know what the premise is, but they're like, yeah, new Karate Kid movie coming out in 2024. And it's like, wait, didn't we already do that 10 years ago with Jaden Smith? And, which I've heard from other people that it's decent. It's good.
Jaden Smith one?
Yeah. I haven't watched it. I have no interest in watching it. But apparently they're doing another Karate Kid movie, but it has nothing to do with the current Cobra Kai Karate Kid original time. Why? I don't understand it. And the only other thing I saw, too, is I don't know if we want to get into it with TV, but I did watch the Hellraiser trailer.
I did watch the trailer, too.
What'd you think?
I mean, it has nothing to do with the fact that Pinhead's a girl. It's just it
No.
looks like it's like.
You look. The first Hellraiser movie is a classic.
Yes, I don't know if it holds up over time.
No, it does. I watched it recently.
Yeah.
Like not recently, but I remember watching it, and it still holds up. I mean, it's kind of creepy. It's got definitely that 80s vibe to it. Sure,
right.
It's not. The special effects aren't like CGI crazy, but like they've made so many freaking crappy Hellraiser movie after that. I think I hung in till about the third,
right? And
then I was just like, wait, there's another one, and somebody else is playing it. What the? So I mean, I'll give it a chance only because it's Hulu. It's it's spooky season, so why not? But it doesn't. I don't know. It's the same thing. First of all, if somebody handed me a box like that puzzle box. Are you really going to play with it and open it?
I don't even know that I would know how to.
Yeah.
I can solve a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, they look at it, and it just starts going and twisting and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden...
Hold on, I got to go this way, and ka-chunk.
Yeah, it's just like, it's the same shit over and over and over again. So, get ready for some more nostalgic trips and reboots and whatnot, but... We've seen some good movies, though. You want to start movies or TV? We usually do. What do you want to do? We can do. I don't know why I'm doing a bad Silvio impersonation.
I don't think I have anything TV.
Oh, okay. So let's start with the. Well, you do have TV. You have Andor.
Well, yes.
We could talk about TV. We usually do movies, TV, and then...
You want me to quickly run through the movies that I've seen that are not the stuff that we went to go see together?
Yeah, well, yeah. Talk about your movies that you've seen this week
that,
you want to turn your friend on to.
I watched Confess, Fletch.
You did tell me that.
And it was good. I like John Hamm. Maybe that's it. And I find it funny that both of the guys from freaking Mad Men, John Hamm and the guy who played... Tony Stark's dad.
Yeah.
Is in it. I've watched like 4 movies or 4 things in the past couple of weeks that both of them are in together. I'm like, this is really what are we doing? A Mad Men reunion?
Well, everybody loves a delicious piece of ham. I get it.
I do.
But I don't know. It was like
good.
Maybe I'll have to give it a shot because I did see it and I'm, it's interesting because the original Fletch, obviously,
Chevy Chase
masterpiece. It's freaking hysterical. Second one, I was like, don't remember it as much as the first one.
Right.
I mean, the first one is just, it's all ball bearings nowadays. Like somebody,
what it is?
so quotable.
He did a good job capturing, and again, I've never read the Fletch books.
Yeah.
But capturing that same thing that Chevy Chase had with the kind of like aloof, I don't get what you're talking about, that kind of an airheadiness to it.
Yeah.
But
he's not stupid. He's just playing stupid.
He's playing it.
Yeah. And, it was interesting when Kevin Smith a bunch of years ago said he was going to do a Fletch movie.
With Jason
Lee. I was totally down for that.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's just because it's the Kevin Smith fan in me. It was like, I'll do it. I mean, I love John Hamm. I think he's hysterical. And he's a good actor. So
I have a copy of it for you. Give it a shot.
I will. I
the
promise.
other movie I have a copy of is the Munsters movie. Look, I'm not saying it was amazing.
Oh wait, well, let's get down to the palameter first, though, on the Unconfessed Fletch. What do you think?
I'm gonna give it a nice solid tree, pals. I'm trying to get the screen up, but I can't. Oh, there it is. I'll give it 1, 2, 3. Bingo, bango, bongo.
Nice.
Not amazing, right?
Yeah,
but not bad.
Okay, it's worth a watch, and
It's very much worth a watch.
You're not paying $15 to go see it in the theater. So.
Again, on the John rewatchability meter, that's maybe rewatch it once at some point, just because.
Yeah, take a couple hits off the vape pen. All of a sudden, you're like, God damn it, Fletch is on.
When my garden grows now. So yeah, I did enjoy it. I'll watch it again at some point.
Okay, and now you also saw the Munsters movie.
Yes.
Now, am I going to see the palameter go down? It's down to 2.
I'll give it a 2.
All right.
Only because
respectable,
and that's because in watching that trailer, you're like, oh my God, this is going to be freaking horrible. And then I watch it and I'm like, okay, they just showed you the worst of the horrible pieces. There's bad pieces to it.
Sure.
They played off as this like fantastical love story, but it's more of like a Munsters origin story.
Okay.
It's like, Lily's with Grandpa, who's, I mean, the characters who played people, I was like, wait, that's who that is?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, fucking the guy who plays Hurley from Lost is in it.
Really?
I'm pretty sure it was him.
What does he play?
He plays like the Igor Humpback guy.
Oh, makes sense.
I mean,
I love me some Hurley, but he's not exactly he's a nice big chunk of pie. I like him.
He is, but I feel like I've seen him in a bunch of things recently. Like they just throw him in there. But it was like those were the worst parts. So it was like she's living with Grandpa, and he's like, you got to get married, and she's dating people, and she's like, he's horrible, and then this Frankenstein type scientist guy makes and heavy spoiler alert for those of you who I don't want to know what happens in the Munster movie.
I'm sure everybody's foaming at the mouth waiting to see that fucking piece of garbage.
Yeah.
Sorry, kids.
So like this guy he's trying to make like this super smart, super strong. It's very Young Frankenstein.
Okay.
This super smart guy's got this dumb brother who's like, he's the stand-up comedian, tells bad jokes.
Oh, okay.
Kind of thing. Grabs the wrong brain, puts the wrong brain in the body. Comes up.
They did that old gag?
Yeah, so he's like, oh, I don't want, forget him. And he becomes like a musician playing in a band.
Ah.
And Lily sees him. Is like, oh my God. It's like, the stars and everything like that. But he did it real campy. But I mean, most of it wasn't bad. It was kind of interesting and fun to watch. Like dumb, mindless, brainless. Just I'll watch it once, entertainment, and be like, all right, I saw that.
Yeah,
I'm never gonna watch it again.
Yeah,
0% rewatchability.
Yeah, at least you could take that bullet and say I've seen it.
I did post that public apology on Twitter to Rob Zombie because I was like, I'm sorry for shitting on your movie without having seen it. But
true,
I
we
just
all do
watched
that.
it.
We see a trailer and we're like, we've already made our minds up.
Yeah, and I'm like, it was not as bad as I thought it was gonna be.
All right.
Let's see.
We'll see what the consensus is out there.
Richard Blake is in it. I don't know if you know him. He's in a lot of
good old
shit.
Dick Blake.
Sherry Moon Zombie, Rob Zombie's wife,
of
plays
course.
Lily. What I found funny was the woman who was in the Munster show who played like the little kid, like the little girl. I think the sister. I think. The normal sister.
Yeah, she's the blonde kind of Marilyn Monroe.
She actually has a role in this.
Oh,
and
the original one?
Yeah, but she just does a voice thing. They put her as like the announcer for the airline.
Oh, that's cool.
But like Sylvester McCoy's in it.
Sylvester McCoy.
Yeah, he played. Do you know who he is?
No.
Oh, he was Doctor Who. He
He
was also in the Hobbit movies when like they're in the forest and they go to the like forest wizard guy
Forest Wizard.
who talks to the animal. Have you seen the Hobbit movie?
No.
Okay, forget that then.
I've seen the animated one. That's about it.
But he was like, he's everybody's like that's the Doctor.
Oh.
The most popular Doctor.
He's one of the most popular ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
So everybody loves him. But he's been in a lot of stuff. If you saw him, you'd be like, oh, that guy. But it was a good cast. Couldn't make much of a movie from it. I mean, I don't think I would have been as interested or entertained by it if it wasn't for the fact that I'm watching it and freaking like, Jorge Garcia, a.k.a. Hurley, shows up. And I'm like, wait, that's fucking Hurley.
Yeah.
And just all the other people.
I'm sure it's something where you put it on around Halloween time. It's kind of goofy. It's not going to offend kids or anything like that. You're like, okay.
Yeah, oh yeah, it's not horror. It's not offensive. It's a And when I thought about it, I was like, the Monster Show was kind of like this, campy and goofy, and like,
it was. I mean, the whole premise of it was like this Frankenstein monster family lives. It's very Addams Family. It was very derivative of that. So, that's cool. I mean, I don't know if I'll be racing to my Netflix to watch it. I'll wait for Wednesday.
I'll go really quick on these last ones. I saw 3,000 Years of Longing.
Oh, is that the
Idris
Cage
Elba?
one? Oh, Idris Elba.
Yeah, ageless Elba.
Ageless.
He is ageless.
Ageless Elba.
It was okay.
They said
I'd
ageless.
give that maybe 2. I mean, it was just.
We're staying in the 2 pals?
Yeah.
All right.
I watched Emily the Criminal with what the hell's her name?
Emily?
No.
Was she a criminal?
Oh my god. Her fucking name is. Her name is on the end of my tongue. Anyway, I'll look it up. I hate doing that. I had it written down, and I was like, I don't need to write it down because I'm gonna remember her name.
Yeah.
But it just dragged.
Yeah.
It was interesting with like, the fact that she's a criminal. She's got a record. She's trying to get a job. She can't get a job except for like this. She works in this company that like they do like catering for meals and parties out of big restaurants. So like people will order. It's almost like a DoorDash kind of thing, but you're paying for like them to. This company goes to the restaurant, gets all your stuff, brings all the chafing dishes, sets it up. Mm-hmm. So when people are catering or anything, the restaurant doesn't do the catering. They just make all the food, and this company is your caterer that gets their food. I don't know how it works. I was like, is this a real thing? That's why I said, like, you would know what it say. She's like, yep, it's a thing.
Yeah.
Off-site catering. There you go. And she could not get a job because, like, other than this off-site catering, because she's got a criminal record, because you find out she beat the shit out of her boyfriend at one point and got arrested for it. It's Aubrey Plaza.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and she's in a serious role. It's a serious role too, because I'm so used to seeing Aubrey Plaza in shit where she plays someone who's a little crazy. Mm-hmm. And this, she's a little crazy, but it's not like that fun woohoo.
Yeah.
So it was all right. I watched one more. Where is it?
We're still in the 2 pal carrot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're 2 pounding.
Wouldn't rewatch
we're
it.
We're 2 pounding it all the way down.
This next one I'll give 2.5.
Ooh.
I'll throw in the half. I'll throw in that Lonely Greg at the side.
Oh, there I am.
A movie called Meet Cute.
Meet?
MEET, not as in. Meet Cute, starring Kaylee Cutco, Penny.
Kaylee Cutco.
And Pete Davidson, of course, because he's freaking in everything right now.
Fucking everything
now. He's in everything, not just Kim Kardashian.
Well, I from the rumor mill is that they've broken up.
Yes.
Old horse cock fucking Davidson.
Jeez Louise. Here's right off the bat. It's a rom-com.
Okay, you lost
Sort
me.
of. Mm-hmm. Sort of. It drove me crazy for obvious reasons because they do a fucking time travel thing. I hate having to curse.
Time travel.
I know Dottie and Loretta hate all the cursing.
I know. We're trying not to, but
they got to do time travel again. So she is going to kill herself.
Okay.
And I'm going through the whole movie, spoilers here. But, like, she's going to kill herself. She meets him at a bar and, like, has this great night with him and then, like, goes her own way and then's like, I'm going to kill myself. So she's like, I want to look good. So she goes to the nail salon and, there's all the nail salon jokes. Like, you walk in, you're like, They always say the first
Pick a color.
pick a color, and they have that. That's like the running joke.
It's all one word. Pick a color.
And in the back of the nail salon is what looks like a tanning bed, but it's a time machine, and it'll send you back in time, but you come right back after.
Tan bed time machine.
That's right, tanning bed time machine.
Not to be confused with a hot tub time machine.
And you go back to whenever, but after 24 hours, it slingshots you right back to present day.
Oh, okay.
So she keeps going back and having date night with him this one night and doing it over and over and over again.
Would you go into a tanning bed time machine to go back to see Pete Davidson? Maybe.
Yeah, you know what? No.
No.
No
I don't
disrespect to Pete Davidson.
I like him,
He's a goofy looking motherfucker, and I'm like,
is.
how is she falling head over here? Like,
that's why I'm saying I'm convinced he's got going on.
Yo, probably.
It's got to be.
He's probably got under his shirt thrown over his fucking shoulder. I don't know. So those are the movies I watch. I give that one 2.5 stars because it was kind of fun and entertaining and it was a little funny and a little tenderness and that was kind of sweet.
It was two pals and then the old gave it an extra half.
Yeah.
Because everything Pete Davidson walks by throws an extra half in there.
I feel like there was another movie we saw though. Which one of the two we went to together do you want to hit first?
Let's start with. I think we should start with Pearl.
Is that because it was the less gooder of the two?
Now, see, I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
And you know what it was weird about Pearl is that it was better for me as I thought about it more. It's like one of those it's like listening to an album where you're like. At first, you're like, I don't know about that. And then you kind of think about it for a while, and you're like, no, wait a second. That was a good movie. As opposed to sometimes you go see something like a Marvel or a Star Wars, and, like I walked out of the Last Guy or the Last Skywalker going like, oh, my God, that was amazing. And I'm like, no, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
That was kind of the opposite. I mean,
was it crack on your popcorn when you were watching that movie?
Yeah. I mean, Rise of Skywalker or whatever the fuck it was called. And I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I just forgot it. Yeah, I mean, with Pearl, anybody who doesn't know, it's the prequel to that movie X that we saw,
right.
Which literally came out within less than a year.
But they filmed the two of them at the same time.
Yes, and they did have the trailer for Pearl at the end of X.
Right.
And X is one of my favorite horror movies.
Which, when I watched it, I thought was a joke. I thought that trailer was a joke at the end of it.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, did they just do like an end credit scene or something like that, or. But no, kids, they did put out a movie, Pearl. It wasn't, you know what it was? It was, now I saw people ranting and raving about it, like how great it was. And I'm like, it was good. It wasn't like X good.
You know what I would rant and rave about?
What?
Her performance.
Yes.
I've never, ever seen someone hold crazy as long as she did. I mean, those slow...
The end credit, yeah.
Not even the end credit one. The end credit one's a really long one, but even there was a couple of points in the movie where they did that same thing, and she's holding that crazy... And it's not a freeze frame. It's not a slowdown. You can see, her face moving normal, and they're just slowly coming in on her like they did at the end. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, I've never seen someone hold crazy and go from being like, I'm so sweet to, I'm going to rip your freaking skull out.
Yeah, I mean, I would recommend people seeing that movie just for her performance alone. Because she's really, it's really her movie. And not as gory. Whereas X was more of like an exploitation slasher film, like Cabin in the Woods shit. This was more of like Gone with the Wind on crack.
Well, and everybody compared it. It's true. It was more like Wizard of Oz.
Yes.
It had a real Wizard of Oz vibe. Right down to working on the farm and not Uncle this, but having the
I'm going to get out of here someday and I'm going to be a star.
Yeah. I just don't want to be in this town. And I mean, even to, I think I said it in the theater where I was like, she gets on the bicycle to ride to town. And I'm like, it's the Wicked Witch.
Yeah, we're
right
all
there.
Going
and it was. It had her. I think it was. I felt like it was filmed the same way too.
Yeah, it had that very in Technicolor kind of thing. Yeah, I mean, it's something where, I'm glad we saw it.
Yep.
I would give it a solid 3 pals.
I was gonna say I'd give it 3 pals, no more.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as X.
Right.
But it's a completely different movie. You can't go in having the same expectations of like, this is going to be a gory, slashy, good time. And even X wasn't that gory and slashy, but it was still tense and weird. And, this was weird, but it was like, it was beautifully shot.
Oh, yeah.
That whole scene where her friends, and she's chasing her with the axe.
Yep.
Just the way they shot that was really cool. And the whole crocodile thing with the father and all that, like, it was good. I mean, I enjoyed it. Is it something I would have waited and saw it on streaming, as opposed to going to the theater? But hey, like I said, we missed last week's episode because we went on a double date. Well, we went on a date with each other and the godson and saw Pearl. And our next movie.
The reason I give Pearl 3 instead of 2.5 is because of, you know what? I'm probably gonna sit and rewatch it and give it a second chance.
Yeah.
Some movies I just be like, yeah, it is what it is. I'm not going to watch it again.
Yeah.
That I will rewatch just to be like, okay, maybe there's something I missed. Maybe I just was out of the moment. Maybe in a different mindset. I'm like cool with it.
Yeah.
Better.
Plus, like we were talking, we did see a double feature, and I think both of us were looking, as much as we liked Pearl,
right?
Or we were anxious to see Pearl. It was the next movie that we were like, oh my God, we can't wait.
The Fathom event that we missed the first 15 minutes of because Fathom events don't have previews.
Yeah. We're in a Target like looking for snacks, and we're like, oh, that's going to be previews. We're going to miss that. And it was like, we walked in and we are like, oh, man, we missed the whole beginning.
Yep. Didn't change how I felt about the movie, though.
No, makes me want to watch it 100 times more. The next one we did see after that same day was Clerks 3. Dare I say the end of the trilogy?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if you want to hit the spoiler button on this because I'm sure we're going to spoil the bejesus out of it.
Where is the spoiler button?
I don't know.
It's right there.
Yeah, so we did see Clerks 3, which I was really looking forward to seeing it because, we're both huge Kevin Smith fans. I don't know. You want to go first? You want me to go first? How do you want to do it as far as describing it?
You get Kevin Smith. You
Yes.
get a Kevin Smith movie. Going into that, like half the dialogue, as with everything he's done, and I think this is why people give him shit. Half the dialogue is like how it happened in his life. He's just taking after going back and watching again that beginning part and seeing like Randall having the heart attack.
Yeah.
It's like everything that's in that scene happens is how he's described when he had his heart attack.
It was beat to beat, like certain things that the doctor said and the story that if you watch, if you see any of the Kevin Smith stuff talk about the heart attack, like the story going in.
Yeah.
But it's just in the frame of a Randall.
I think everybody is so used to how scripts are written to be like blah la la la, and when someone goes, no, this is how people really talk. This is what really happens and how it's said.
Yeah,
they're like, this seems so stupid and unrealistic. And it's like, no, that's the problem. Is you're not used to real.
Yeah. Life doesn't come with a soundtrack.
No, it does not. As much as I wish I had a soundtrack that followed me, and it would be all Morrissey, but whatever.
Mine would be the Sanford and Son theme, but I digress.
True.
But yeah, going into it, obviously I knew I was in the bag for it. Didn't expect the ending, which we'll get into.
Did not expect, just the ending.
First of all, Dante, holy shit, dude. His from beginning to end was tragic.
Oh my God.
The poor guy, I
don't know if you were watching how many times I cried during that fucking movie.
Oh, it was just so sad. Now we missed the beginning of it. But just like you said, we're going to spoil the crap out of this movie. I'm going to
have to rewatch Clerks too, because I don't remember everything with Rosario Dawson's character that they describe in Clerks 3. I'm like, am I missing something?
Well, I think they did sort of a time. I mean, they ended up getting together in Clerks 2, and they were dating, and then they, bought the Quick Stop and had their own. Now, you think going into Clerks 3 that, they're going to, and they did kind of show it in the trailers a little bit, and it was a total misdirect. Yeah. You're watching, he's with Rosario again. Oh, it's going to be great, and they're going to be married and have kids.
Nope.
No. She dies.
She dead. So dead.
Did they have a kid too that died too?
I don't know. That's the thing is I feel like I can't tell if it's even rewatching it and actually watching the beginning where he's in the hospital, where Randall's in the hospital when Dante has the heart attack. I'm sorry, Dante's in the hospital when Randall has the heart attack, and then they take him in for surgery. He turns around and looks, and he kind of has this flashback of them bringing her in with the ambulance, and he's following behind. And I'm like, I don't see a kid, and I don't know if it's was she pregnant, or was it that they actually did have a kid that also was killed in the car accident?
Yeah, I mean, I thought he had mentioned 2 names.
Right, he did.
Yeah, but you don't really get the backstory of it. All you know is that, Dante finally finds love, and Rosario Dawson, of all people, with poor freaking schlub Dante, he gets...
All I'm going to say is fucking that guy owes Kevin Smith everything because he got to make out with fucking Rosario Dawson.
And Kevin Smith's wife.
Yeah, oh, that's right. Damn.
Yeah.
He's like, I like you, kid. You can fuck my wife. No.
Yeah, but, cut to, she's dead.
Yeah.
She's dead, I tell you. And you're just like, oh, my God, that's horrible. And then you see Randall talking about all this, his epiphany after having a heart attack, saying, I'm going to make a whole movie. And it was a lot of meta jokes and everything like that, and a lot of returning characters.
And I think that's the problem is, people who aren't familiar with Kevin Smith movies and Kevin Smith, they see that and they go, I don't fucking get it. What is so funny about this?
Well, I don't think anybody's going to watch a third movie in the Clerks, trilogy, if you want to say that, you're going into this movie. And that's why he's smart about touring it and doing Fathom events. He goes, the normal Joe, and he's learned that in the past.
Yep.
Nobody's going to go see Clerks 3 unless you're a huge Kevin Smith fan. So it was like, why don't you just come see it with me, and all that stuff. So he's smart with that.
Like he says, he goes, you get it's like you're going to see a Kevin Smith Q&A stand-up routine with the bonus of I'll show you my new movie too.
Yeah, exactly. But I did love it a lot. It was great, but I didn't expect it to be so depressing and heartbreaking. I mean, okay, big huge spoiler, toil in trouble.
One more time.
So, yeah.
It's the Star Wars siren.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. In the end, Dante has a heart attack.
And
but
dies.
He doesn't make it. And it's sweet because that's the
what
movie
got me.
theater. He's going with now he's with Rosario Dawson.
He's sitting in the movie theater. And I love the way that, Randall's watch our movie. And he's got a tube in. He can't. And he's watching the movie. But then, he's watching the movie, but he's sitting in a theater watching the original Clerks movie.
Yeah.
And it's he's just looking back at his life. And then she's in the seat next to him. Yeah. And that's when you know,
they take off together. Yeah.
He's dead.
Yeah.
And she's like, don't you want to watch the rest of the movie? Don't you want a little more time in life to see how things were? And he's like, I trust the director.
Yeah. It was, oh God. I just, yeah. So you go in thinking,
cry.
Dick and fart jokes, and then you kind of get that too. So, yeah, I mean, easily, I would say, yeah, I mean, do I give it 5, pals? Is there such a thing?
I give it 4.5.
4.5. Yeah, it wasn't a perfect movie.
Right.
The little bit of the meta jokes kind of got a little long in the tooth, and I already kind of knew the story, just being a huge Kevin Smith fan.
Right.
So I kind of knew the beats of I know what's going to happen. So even in the beginning where I was like, what was funny is that when we saw it and I saw that we missed it, I was like, I know what happens anyway. I know the dialogue, even what the nurse, the doctor was saying was the stuff that he said in his Q&A. So I'm like, all right, I know the gist of it. But, I didn't find out until later, what happened with Dante. And I was like, oh my God, that sucks. They couldn't give that poor schlub a happy ending.
But you know what? It finally
did.
kind of reveals what we all knew all along. The fucking movies are not about Randall. It's all Dante's story.
Oh, yeah.
Because
totally.
why? Because Kevin is fucking Dante.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see Randall have the heart attack. And you're like, yeah, that's Kevin's heart attack. And he's like, well, no, Kevin's using his story to set this all up. Yeah. But all along, Dante has been Kevin.
He's always
Dan T.
Yeah, Dan T. He was. Yeah, he's always talked about his friend Brian Johnson, who was our comic book man, was the Randall.
Right. The other side of it for me is why I go 4.5 is because I wasn't kind of so into as funny as he was. I wasn't so into, Kevin's daughter's boyfriend, basically teeing him up as the new Silent Bob.
Yeah, and then the whole switch
and
with
they
Elias.
do address it. They do address that, but oh, you've got your own little Silent Bob. You got your own thing going here, and they play it up.
Yeah, I really hope that it was kind of Randall taking in Elias, and that was the thing too. Like, I didn't like the whole Elias change,
right?
From he was hysterical in Clerks too. When he switched to Satanist, it was kind of really goofy.
Yeah.
I liked his outfits. It was kind of like funny.
Yeah.
But I still love, like in Clerks too, it's just like, say what you will about the Transformers. Don't go after Jesus. Something like that. Like his whole character in Clerks 2 was great. And that kind of goofy, like it would have been good if it ended up that way.
Yeah.
The whole satanic twist didn't really go for it.
Nope.
And very little of Jay and Silent Bill.
Silent Bill.
Yeah, so that's our reviews on the two big ones that we saw together.
I don't have anything else. I gave you my other movies.
Yeah, well, I think it's time for some TV time.
TV time. There's no theme for TV time.
We should start doing ones. I'm going to work on some ones for movie and TV. I think it would be funny.
I will say we talked about this earlier. The only thing I'm going to say that's not new TV wise is She-Hulk better fucking pick it up.
Yeah, you're kind of losing me on the She-Hulk. It's cute, it's sitcom-y. I knew that's what it was going in, but I kind of like my Marvel to be a little bit more serious, or there's no stakes involved in it. It's cute, it's but it's not like I don't know, like. And then they at the end of the She-Hulk thing, like they keep teasing, "Oh, you're gonna see Daredevil. Daredevil's coming." I'm like, "Okay, good."
Is he?
Yeah, I'll see Daredevil.
How many more episodes are there?
Yeah,
we're already 4 or 5 in.
Yeah, and it started off strong. It
did.
The first 2 or 3 episodes, I was like, "All right, I'm on board for this." But then as it's been going on, we're on like episode 6, and I'm like, "Yeah, I don't." The wedding thing and the She-Hulk
and the A plot, B plot. Like, there's
that's
that other plot that's going about. It's them trying to get some of her blood to clone her, and at the end of this episode, it's like you get a glimpse of like,
here's the needle that we're gonna go, and like, there's no.
And I even thought, what's her name? The lady who shows up at the wedding to beat her up.
Oh yeah. Titania.
I thought Titania was gonna be like, okay, Titania's in on it with them, and is gonna try and get some of her blood for them.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, what's.
Yeah, and nobody cares.
She just punched her and sent her across the thing not as She-Hulk. And then, nothing happens to her? Titania, who's got, like, super strength, gives her, like, the double shot across and sends her across the room, and not even, like, a scratch.
What I love is that she punches Titania in the face, that slow-mo thing, falls back, nothing happens. She falls on her face and breaks her teeth. I'm like, wouldn't the She-Hulk punching you in the face make your teeth come flying out? I mean, Titania does have some special abilities, apparently.
And that's where they're starting to lose me with shit like that. It's like being hypocritical in your plot lines. It sounds so petty and stupid, and I know it is, but it's like, if you want me to suspend my disbelief, like, of all this, don't leave something so simple wide open. A punch from She-Hulk does nothing, but when you slip on some ice and bang your face in the floor, you knock all your fucking teeth out. What's wrong with that?
Yeah, and none of the characters in there, like her friend, that's the assistant. Okay, she's funny.
Yeah.
And there really is no, like, I'm waiting for cameos. Like, I'm just like, at the end of it, I'm like, all right, well, that was a turd, but
I'm not invested.
Daredevil's coming,
I'm a little invested in She-Hulk. But I'm not invested. The only other thing in that show I'm kind of invested in is waiting for who the next cameo is going to be.
Yeah, it's not about her. Like, and I mean, the actress that plays her, I'm going to try to butcher her name.
Tatiana Maslany?
Yes, thank you. She's good.
She was in Heartland.
Yeah, she's good.
She was Kit in Heartland.
Ah.
I'm gonna give Katie. I'm gonna give Katie Cat credit for that. Kate was is a huge like Heartland fan.
Ah, okay.
And like when she saw it, she's like, "Oh, that's Kit from Heartland." I was like, "No, that's the girl from freaking Orphan Black." It's like, "No, that's Kit from Heartland." I was like, "Okay,
you're both right.
We're both right."
So yeah, to get the She-Hulk out of the way, and we did talk about House of the Dragon, how it's incense abound and kind of red wedding, but it'll get there.
The only Reddit at the wedding was like them turning the gold cloaked guy turning his face into freaking chopped meat.
Oh,
Looked like a bowl of Jello.
oh yeah, yeah. It was it was, anytime there's a wedding. I mean, even though I have not watched Game of Thrones, I know every time there's a wedding, shit's about to go down.
But see but that's the thing too with Game of Thrones right now is like I was so invested in Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
But House of the Dragon, I'm like, okay, I'm not going like, oh, did you see it? Oh, what about the and talking to people about it? I'm just like, all right, I'm watching it.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, just keep
Same thing with the Rings of Power.
Just keep giving me my Prince.
Yep.
I just want Prince Damon. He is such a scumbag.
Yep.
I love it. How he walks into that wedding and he's just like, give me a chair. Just put it over here. He just kind of sits back and watches the chaos.
He's a definite, like, he's a dom. In that power dynamic, he's the control guy. And that's why when he's in the brothel with her and he's all going hot and heavy trying to get at it with her, as soon as she takes the power in that dynamic, he's like,
yep.
He's
Yeah.
like, I'm out of here.
Well,
And
he doesn't like to get challenged.
And he doesn't like powerful women. Like, that's the thing with his wife. He thought his niece was going to be a pushover and be able to, like, hit that.
Yeah.
And now, like, his wife was like, fucking, she's a she's a hunter. She's, like, a badass. She's a master horse rider. Like, and he's like, yeah, you're too much woman for me. I can't even compete.
Yeah, but he's just I just love his freaking
Arrogant prick.
Yeah, just like the smirk when he comes walking in and just like, yeah, that freaking face you got right there.
I couldn't be bothered with you people. Why do I got to be here?
Yeah, and then the poor king, like, he's on his deathbed and he's just like, am I a good king? Do you think I'm a good king? Will people remember me?
No,
and it's
he's
just
not.
like, he's a,
He's
like
gonna
that.
be he's a footnote.
Yeah, I know. It's unfortunate because I do like his character. I don't think the king is a bad man.
But it's not what you expect from a Targaryen. You expect like a fucking badass.
Yeah, he's not a badass
not.
at all, and he's just rotting away, and they're putting maggots on him to freaking, it's just gross.
The dragon scale, all the infections that won't heal. Because that's the thing, and that's what the show is trying to show. I know we weren't planning on going down this road, but like the whole reason the Iron Throne is made out of the swords of the kings they've conquered is because you don't sit comfortably on that throne. You are constantly on edge of like, I have to like be conscious of everything when I'm on here so I don't get cut by these swords. You don't sit back in that throne. And he sits back. He's like, I'm just going to enjoy this. And it's kind of like a metaphor. Well, I don't know if metaphor is the right word, but that's what the throne is supposed to be. You're constantly on edge, constantly paying attention, constantly battling. Knowing that you could get cut at any moment. Yeah. And that's how you have to rule.
But yet everybody wants a piece of that throne. Everybody is scheming and, was it Blackfoot is his name?
Yeah.
Oh, God, what a scumbag. Basically whores out his daughter. He's just like, go fuck the king.
Well, and now you've got the other guy now who's the cripple who's like, oh, he's the new freaking, I said he's like worm tongue.
Yeah.
Whispered in the ear.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, everybody's got an agenda.
But the real gold this week, oh my God, I did not realize how bad I wanted this show.
It was one of
I knew I was like chomping at the bit to see it, but after seeing it, I was like, I did not know that this is what I wanted all along.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was one of those shows where, out of all the shows that they announced Star Wars wise, between Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan, Mandalorian, like we always say, Mandalorian's the gold standard, but you would think Boba Fett and Obi-Wan, that's what you were like, that's going to be the freaking...
And they were good.
And then they go, and we're going to do an Andor show. And you're like, really?
Yeah.
I hate prequels. I know what's going to happen to them.
Yeah.
I don't care. Why? That's the best show out of all of them, hands down.
And we thought we talked about this before, but like I said, and I know it's not popular, but Rogue One is my favorite Star Wars movie at this point.
Yeah.
And I realized what it has in common with the show is it's not a bunch of freaking Jedis with lightsabers running around.
Yeah, and look,
to a degree it is. There is some of that in there, but it's not.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
That's the reason we all came to the party to begin with, was the Skywalkers and the lightsabers and stuff. But we've had 30, 40 years of that. The universe is vast. There's so many things going on in the universe, and yet we're all concentrated on this one family.
Right. Well, Luke Skywalker, the Jedi, all that stuff. That's the fantasy. That's what we sit here and go like, man, I wish I was a Jedi. I wish I was Darth Vader and I could force choke people. And then there's like, well, what's the reality? I'm not that guy. I'm the guy in the junkyard slicing up stuff for freaking scrap parts.
Yep.
The guy going to a job, punching in, punching out every day.
And that was one of the things we talked about before we got on mic about the show. It was so cool is that you see people going to work.
Yeah.
Like, it's just everyday, people. You could see the oppression that's happening with these planets due to the Empire.
Right.
You could see how the Empire's influence is, like, on that security team with the ones that go in on Andor. And, looking at it from that perspective, it's jackboot freaking not, Lucas based all that Empire stuff on Nazism and stuff like that. Of, like, the boots.
And Dune.
Yeah, and Dune, of course, But at the same time, it's just like it shows like if you were run by a regime like that, like that's the way people live.
And they even touch on they're so powerful, they think they're untouchable. But that's what makes them touchable is the fact that they think no one would think of.
Yeah, and that was one of my favorite lines is when he goes in there, he goes, they're just so fat and content. He's like, they're never looking for an ordinary guy. Just put on a suit, walk in, steal parts.
They couldn't even conceive the idea that someone like me, could get in.
Yep, exactly. And
that's, I think it's that balance of like, I'm watching. It's like that's real life. We see how everybody else, not the guys who are fighting battles and doing the, not the Luke Skywalkers, not the Anakins, not the, all that. It's like the average person on all these planets in the universe, like. What were they doing? They were just going about their lives.
Yeah. Yeah, and now
I can't tell. I'm sorry. I can't tell if that woman who he's friends with, who gets handcuffed to the pipe at the end of that episode, I can't tell if her and the other guy are married or just dating.
You could kind of tell that Andor and her had a thing.
Right.
At one point.
And that's why the guy turns him in. Spoilers.
Yeah, he freaking
rats him out.
Rats him out like a bitch. But then he gets freaking... pew-pewed.
Yeah, but like you were saying, my point to that was like, it's down to the like, even like, she comes home at the end of the day, she's like, it's like I guess they're not married. She goes to his place and it's like a, hi honey, I'm home kind of thing. Just like normal. It's like, hey, I had a really long day at work. Let's do this. Let's have sex. And it's like,
it wakes up and he wants some coffee.
And I know they can't do it because it's Star Wars. And I love that because I've said time and again, like, they come in, they make out, boom, they're down. And the next thing you know, it's like the aftermath of having sex. I don't need to see all of it. I know what happens.
Yeah, we've all been there.
Right.
Hopefully.
And watching it, I'm like, cool, because it does, me watching them graphically have sex, again, it's Disney, it's Star Wars, they're not going to do it. But I've always said, like, watching, it's like, what does that add to the story? Unless you're showing me like they're into something freaky and that's part of the plot. Yeah. I don't need to see like her boobs and his ass and like I don't care.
No, at this point we're pretty desensitized to that.
Yeah.
But it's all about, especially with this show, it's all about the story, like the character. Like I said, I am not a big fan of prequels. Certain things like we talked about Pearl. We're like, all right, well, that was so far removed that, we know what happens or whatever. Same with, I'm like, I know what happens to Andor. Like, he ain't coming, but what they do, which is so smart, is that they get you invested in other characters. That's kind of what Better Call Saul did with the Breaking Bad prequel.
Right.
You know that this guy Jimmy's going to become Saul, and this is how he ends up. But at the same time, it's like they introduce these other characters that you're like, oh, you give a shit about.
Yeah.
Like, oh, my God. I hope, like, he was with, God, why can't I even think of her name now?
He was with me. I was doing it in the back of a Chevy on.
But, that's what Andor does beautifully, too, is now I'm getting invested in the Nyx guy. I think her name is Nyx or Biggs or something like that. I'm so bad with names. But,
see where she goes.
I'm excited. Hey, man, it's written and directed by Gilroy.
No relation.
Who knows? Tony Gilroy and his brother, John Gilroy.
Hey, wait, that's your dad.
Yeah, he's back from the dead. He's better than Houdini. So I was getting a kick out of that one. Like, what Gilroy's saying, I'm like, that's right. I hope, maybe it'll get me into a restaurant or two back in the day. I don't know. Who knows? No, probably not.
No.
But
you
anyway,
you can't even get a free cup of coffee at Gregory's Coffee.
I know, right?
And the freaking guy looks like you.
Seriously, everybody takes pictures of Gregory's Coffee and sends it to me.
you.
Yeah, I love it. But and I have my little Gregory's Coffee
Let's
cup.
get him as a sponsor on the show.
Yeah, I literally walked into Gregory's Coffee and went, pointed to my face, showed him my license. I was like, they're like, no, get out of here.
I'm looking for Radio Shack.
Yes.
Told me to meet him here.
Yo, is Cookie Puss there?
I forget who the comedian who did that. Was it Howie Mandel or one of those guys did the whole, like, I walk into Radio Shack. I'm like, hey, I'm looking for Radio Shack. He sent me.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
What? Yeah.
So, yeah, I give it a good solid 4.
Yes. I want to see where it goes.
Yep.
Apparently, they go to Coruscant on the next one. We'll get a little Senate thing. Maybe a Palpatine. Who knows?
Are we going to get some cameos in this?
I think we might. We might. I mean, we know we're getting Sol Guerrera.
Oh, Saul Guerrera.
Starlight.
And saying that we get a Saul Guerrera, wouldn't it be funny if they cast somebody to play, what's her name, from Rogue One? I'm like having a brain shit
Jyn?
right now.
No.
Yeah, Jyn Erso. Like they have like
Jyn
a
Erso,
little
yeah.
kid Jyn Erso. Because in this,
Yeah,
it
she
takes
was.
place significantly before Rogue One. So like,
Actually, no, it's only like 4 years.
why does Saul Guerrero look so young then? If it's only
Yes.
4 years, it literally looks like he's like 20 years younger.
Yeah, apparently, I think it's like they're doing 2 seasons, and I think it's maybe 5 years before the events of Rogue One.
Okay,
So I don't know.
maybe
Maybe
we'll get
I'm
some
wrong.
Flashback.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to relook at that.
My Stardust.
Yeah, but he doesn't seem as old and decrepit and gray haired and everything. He
No,
looks pretty young.
he's rocking the full color fro,
Yeah.
and then he gets in there. He's
In
back
4 years, he freaking goes gray like that?
Well, you've seen what happens to presidents. In 4 years.
True. Not-
Living like Saul Guerrero is a tough thing to do.
Not Barry. That
No.
black don't crack.
That's right. Yeah, so definitely check out Andor if you get a
Yes.
chance.
Oh.
The other TV show that I watched that was new, I was telling my boy about, is Netflix has a Jeffrey Dahmer TV show. 10 episodes. I started watching it. Oh, my God, dude. It is creepy.
The trailer
and
was creepy as fuck.
It's not gory. I mean, there are some parts to it that are visceral, but like just the way that the guy who plays Dahmer in this, we were talking about, he's the same guy who does Quicksilver in Marvel,
And who's on...
no, X-Men. He's the Quicksilver in X-Men,
Right, but he's also in American Horror Story.
Yes, yeah. He has Dahmer down to a freaking T. And like I was saying before we got a mic, they started off with the scene. If you know the Dahmer story, which I did, I'm one of those serial killer nuts. I love all that stuff. There was one guy who got away from Dahmer and was the one who ultimately got him arrested because he escaped. So it starts with that. And then you see that he's arrested, and it's kind of one of those things where they get him into they get him into questioning, and he starts spilling his guts about, which, Netflix loves to do this. They did this with the John Wayne Gacy tapes, and the other one that they did with Zac Efron played a serial killer, not Dahmer, not anyway, Ted Bundy. They released the tapes.
Right.
So they're doing it with the Dahmer ones too.
So it's like you can watch the dramatization, but then you can go listen.
Yeah, listen to the actual tapes and stuff, and like he has got it down.
Yeah.
Like this actor has
It's
got
Evan
it
Peters.
down. Yeah, it's great.
He was in WandaVision.
Yeah, and he starts going back into his crimes. You see his childhood. You see why he's messed up. But there's stuff in this show like, God, if it's true. Oh my God, because we were talking about, I said too, there was another movie with called My Friend Dahmer that came out like a few years before this,
Right.
Where that Disney kind of teen guy, Ross Lynch, I think his name was, did it. That was really good too, and it was like him as a kid, like because he was obsessed with death even from a young age.
Right.
What I didn't really realize watching this TV show is that, his father and mother, his mother was a freaking lunatic. She just takes off.
Aren't they all?
the father is, he takes to Jeffrey, and he kind of encourages his fascination with like dead animals and stuff. Like at first he goes, well, because he seems kind of a quiet, weird kid, and he's like, well, he seems to be really interested in this stuff, so let me kind of egg that along. And he's the one that's like, oh, if you put the body into the vat of acid, you'll get the bones out, and you can get, and they start showing. They go and like every time they see a roadkill, they go, Dad, there's a roadkill, and he picks it up, puts it in the trunk. I used to have a science teacher that actually did that shit.
I had a girlfriend who did that shit.
Yeah, it was weird. And then the stuff that he gets into. I haven't watched the whole thing. I got to the part where
it's like 10 episodes and each one's an hour long.
Yeah, it's long. It's definitely a long watch.
And they're not doing they haven't done the Netflix like release an episode a week yet either.
No. So it's all there. I got about as far as the fourth one. I got to the part where he's starting to explore sexuality. He's a gay guy. He starts going to bathhouses and drugging these people, but he's only killed one guy so far.
Only one.
His first one. But he ends up. What I saw at the end was, he starts getting like he doesn't like he's definitely gay, and he starts coming on to this guy
like Liberace guy.
Yeah,
okay, whatever.
He's all right. He likes the men. But he's at the end. He steals this mannequin and he just kind of lays with the mannequin and touches it, and he's just like, and. They show a graphic thing of him jerking off. First, he's trying to watch, he's looking at like, underwear models and stuff, and he's just kind of like that.
The Sears catalog.
And he's not getting off. Then he starts thinking about when he's in science class and he took out the heart and he starts squeezing it, and that's what makes him freaking yeah. At the end, where I left off, he cut off the head of his victim. Got rid of the rest of the body parts. He did the acid thing, chopped it up, takes it out of a box, the human head, and just kisses it.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh.
He pulled some necromantic level stuff.
Oh, he was totally into that. That was one where when they went through on the first episode, when he gets caught, they go through his part. Because the whole thing we were talking about smells, it's really based on this woman who lived next door, who was constantly calling the cops going, there's something wrong with this dude, man. He is like weird, because he got away with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
He drugged that one kid and he started to run away, and the cops
caught the kid and brought him back.
Yeah. They said, he was like, oh, he's my boyfriend, like he just got a little bit too much to drink. I'm going to take him home. And the cops were like, all right, yeah. And the neighbor was like, he is not 18. Come on. He's like 14, and they're just like, oh, they were so uncomfortable in that age, in the 70s of gay, that they were just. He's like, and he knows it.
Is
so
it
Jeffrey,
the 70s? No,
the 80s. Yeah,
I was gonna say
like
in the 80s. I think he started in the 80s and got caught like
in the 90s, 91, 92. I think is when he got caught.
He had a good 10-year run.
He had a good run. But yeah, you could tell like it's in that age of the AIDS epidemic where even the cops, when they walk into his, when they're going, it's like. They don't want to touch anything, and he knows it. So Jeffrey's just doing like, because I'm gay and I'm doing a lot of gay stuff and I'm homosexual. And he just keeps bringing it up, and it makes the cops uncomfortable where they just don't want to investigate anything.
Yeah.
With the first guy that comes in, eventually they do, because the woman keeps complaining, Jeffrey, the smell is horrific. Like, what is going? Oh, I ordered some bad meat and my fridge went out, so I had to throw it out. And then they're like, but you said that last week. Yeah, well, I got these goldfish and the goldfish died. And like he's coming up with all these excuses. And even the cops, when they walk in, they're like, or even the boys he brings back to his apartment are like, what the hell is that smell? And his mattress in his bedroom, he gets this guy and he sits him down and he goes, come on, just, hang out, watch a movie with me, have a beer. First of all, he's a major alcoholic. He's constantly drinking the whole time. So he drugs them, he tries to drug them. And you could see this poor guy, he knows he's trapped, the one who eventually escaped.
Right.
Because he's like, look, man, I won't kill you. just come watch a movie with me. We'll just sit down and watch a movie, and then maybe we'll just hang. And they're sitting on this bed, and the mattress is just stained with blood. Like, it's not his first rodeo.
No.
And they're watching The Exorcist 3, and
Wow.
he's just like, and then he gets him to lay down, and Jeffrey's just laying on his chest, and he's like, I want to listen to your heartbeat. And he's like, okay, just don't kill me. You know, he's like, because I'm going to eat your heart later. You're just like, oh, this is wrong. But I can go on and on about this show, but
You
Dahmer,
highly recommend it.
highly recommend it. It is easily a 4.5 right now for me right now.
Oh,
It's
I got the 4.5 up there.
yeah. So yeah, if you get a chance, obviously Andor is a big one. Dahmer. If you like that creepy macabre stuff, definitely check out the Dahmer. It's creepy as shit.
I will. I'll be checking it out this weekend.
Yeah. So you want to hit some music news? We'll do that quick.
It's time for Greg's Music News.
It's indeed, everybody. You still love that. Yeah, going to the music news, the only thing I really have for music news-wise was just recently Papa Emeritus from Ghost.
Oh.
He was at the White Sox game. He threw out the first pitch.
What?
Yeah. Now, you can't show it on the screen here, but you can see how he's dressed.
Oh,
he's
that's
got
so
the ghost face makeup on. He is in full White Sox. I was going to send it to Daryl because they played the Cleveland, whatever they're called now.
Yeah.
Not the, woo, 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 woo. They're called something else. Wow. I can't remember the name of it. Anyway, yeah, so
The Cleveland
good old
Shovelheads.
Good old Papa was there throwing out the first pitch at a White Sox game, and it was funny because he's coming out, he's got the corpse paint on, and he's doing his thing, and they're playing the music behind him, like, Mariana, and you could tell at least 80% of the audience was like,
What the fuck is going on?
who is this guy, But it's great, and he threw the pitch. He was fine. He didn't totally bomb it. That was just something that I saw come up that was really, music's been kind of quiet after the Taylor Hawkins thing we did last time, which the other one's coming out soon. So really, that was the only thing that I looked through music-wise that I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Far as
everything else is an acid flashback.
yeah, everything else is just. Ugh.
I got my finger on the button right now.
Oh, what? Oh, just you might as well just hit it now.
This one?
Can I help you, sir? Yes, what is this? Huh? This is whack! I can't get jiggy with this shit!
I thought you were dead.
I'm looking at the new releases for this week, and I swear to God, I thought I was in 1992.
On this date in 1992?
Yeah, I'm looking through it, and just to give you a quick recap, I haven't really listened to a lot of this stuff, and to be quite honest, none of it really is going on the playlist because I'm just like, really? I thought you were dead.
It
New
sounds
album.
like you're dead.
All right, first one, Weezer, SZNZ Autumn album. I did give this one a listen. I said, I will always give Weezer the benefit of the doubt. It is the same old crap. What happened to my Pinkerton Weezer? What happened to my... And I really try. Like, I loved them so much when they first came out.
Yep.
And I even made a Spotify playlist, Reconnecting with the Weezer, I called it. Like, just pulling out their old songs and just being like...
I
They-
still
they
got
were a
some
good
Weezer
band.
shit on my favorite playlist because
Yeah.
they're the ones I like to sing along with.
Yeah, they're fun, catchy, but it just seems like same and the old same. And they just keep putting out content, and you're like,
Yep.
why? It's the same. Like, just take 5 years and come out with. Let us miss you
Yeah.
for a minute. So that was that one. Death Cab for Cutie has now Asphalt Meadows.
Why?
I like Death Cab for Cutie. I actually do. I haven't had a chance to listen to the album yet. I checked some snippets of it. And, if you're into that stuff, it's pretty good. Now we're really getting into the 90s here, the 80s and 90s. Billy Idol, another EP, the Cage EP. It's Billy Idol.
Fuck off!
Exactly. I'm looking through my Spotify Discover, and I'm like,
Fuck off, Billy.
oh, right.
I'm just trying to stay relevant.
Ugh. You look like Rita Hayworth, do you? Like, okay. Now, I haven't really listened to that either. Skid Row has a new single out.
Garbage day.
In fairness, they do have a new singer who's one of the better ones.
Yeah.
But this song, I put it on the playlist only because it's called Time Bomb. It is typical freaking tick, 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 boom, you're like, wow, this is what you're giving me? And to keep the shit show going, Ugly Kid Joe has a new single.
Eat the cookie.
Ugly Kid Joe.
Ugly Kid Joe.
I don't want to think about your sister. Oh, no.
Wow.
Ugly Kid Joe could have been a good band, but they took the goofy a little too far. They're no Bloodhound Gang, I'll tell you that. Freaking Bloodhound Gang can get away with it. Ugly Kid Joe.
Only thing going down this car is the window. I'm not going to leave that there.
Yeah, and then to finish out the turd salad that came out this week. Now, Smashing Pumpkins.
Smashing Pumpkins?
Yes.
Go fuck another fish, asshole.
That's what I say.
Exactly.
Jesus.
I know. It was just a shit show upon a shit. They have a new single out called Beguiled.
Okay.
I listened to it.
Were you beguiled about it?
I was perplexed about it.
There you go.
It was, now, Smashing Pumpkins, I have a love-hate relationship with
I was
that
about
band.
to say, I can't tell if I love them or hate them. There's some songs, and I really got into them because that same girlfriend that liked to pick up Roadkill was totally into them. It was like,
Yeah. I mean, they were one of those bands where, I was early adapted to him with Gish. I love that album.
right.
His voice was kind of a little grating. Then, of course, Siamese Dream,
Yep.
and there were some good songs on that. And then, it's melancholy. Or as I like to call
Melancholy.
it, I wanted to call one of my albums Marshall, Will, and Holly in the Infinite Slee Stack.
Sounds great.
A little Land of the Lost reference.
Melancholy was one of those that came out in like 95. And I remember because 95, no, 96. 95.
Okay.
Came out the summer of 95, autumn of 95, I think, if I'm right, because it came out when I was living in Florida.
Okay.
And it was a double album. And I just remember because it was a big thing. Like I had to scrape together
Yeah.
the money to buy it. Was like, I'm going to be a little late with the rent this month.
Yeah, it's a little double action.
I want to buy a double CD that's $15.
And it's one of those things where, like, with Smashing Pumpkins, I do like Billy Corgan as a songwriter.
Sure.
His voice.
I don't, but whatever.
If you took his songs and had somebody else sing them, I think they would be great.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah.
I'm on it now.
Just, his voice.
It's so whining.
And you're like, okay. They famously, they headlined one of the Lollapaloozas. I
Yeah.
freaking left. I was like 3 songs in. I was like,
I'm done.
I shall be free. I'm like, oh God. But this one is it doesn't even sound, it's got like a freaking metal riff, and it's just so bad. I don't know why. It just really kind of irked me. So yeah, that is pretty much it with the music news.
That's it.
Yeah.
From a big rock band, now he just looks like a big fat ham. It's time for Greg's music news.
I just said this video.
Hey, what the fuck is that?
Exactly.
I never get to play that one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, there's somebody at the right.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show.
Did we lock the door?
Mimi.
Oh.
Nope, we closed it. We didn't lock it.
Oh, okay. Well,
I blame that on our. I'm trying to give you a title, but I can't. I can't think of anything. That's not like
my
just
little
stupid.
my little sweet babu over there.
Oh babu, oh babu.
Yeah. We got a little eye candy in the back for everybody.
Well, rock and roll.
Yeah, so man, I think we did it. That was a good hour and a half.
That's
we caught
right.
up. We talked a lot about movies and TV.
It was a long show, but that's okay.
That's all
We
right.
took last week off.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like anybody's going to listen this far into the show either.
We have such confidence in ourselves. But anyway.
What do we say the name of this episode is going to be?
God, now we have to listen back to it.
Something kids and...
Oh, corn. No. Oh
Oh
God.
God, I'll have to listen.
We have
to it.
such short attention span. We're like,
I'm a
"Ooh."
goldfish.
We're like, oh, look at that squirrel. But anyway, guys, we hope you enjoyed this week's podcast. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Leave us a comment once in a while. If I show you a picture of Rob Halford in a leather outfit, like a leather bikini outfit,
Yeah.
at least give it a like, for God's sakes. We're trying to make content here. I'm sending you pictures of Rob Halford with his nutsack. Please. Do you want us to go back to the filth? We'll go back to the filth.
No. I'm not going back to the filth.
You want us to get back to Water Wings? We'll get back to Water Wings.
I've already mentioned this podcast in public in school.
The word is getting out
at
there.
work, and word's getting out.
In all fairness, we have been seeing an increase, which we want to say thank you. We are working on our studios. So we're hoping by the end of the year, we'll have some nice fancy studios with all kinds of good stuff. And we need your support. It's like Unicorn, but a UNICEF. And they need your money to buy hats.
Yeah, and with that, here's to Rob Halford's codpiece.
Yes.
Stop streaming. Yay.
I mean, come on.
It's
Rob Halford.
It's Rob Halford.
I said, please caption this photo below. I'll go first. Santa's got a brand new bag.
Oh, I guess that's why one of my students was like, so Santa's got a new bag for Takas?
Oh.
And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, what are you talking like, I guess I'm just
Santa does have a brand new bag.
Now that school's back, I don't have time to do anything. Like,
Well, it's just to do the simple things,
and see, here's the beauty. I can do this now. Hit shut down. Yeah, you guys just keep going. Pretend I'm not here.
Look at me, you don't want to see it.
Oh, I want to see it. I want to see it. Show it to me. Show me all of it. Oh, I can handle it. You have no idea.
I don't think you're ready for this jelly.
Joey? Oh, God. Oh, jelly.
Like you got your little slides on.
Oh, yeah. I love these things. The body is bootylicious, mama.
You get to show off your sexy little feet now.
Oh, yeah. Not my sexy feet. My feet are fucking... I'm trying to get him into the freaking fold.
It's the fucking best thing ever. You know, my freaking I think all my polish has came off except for my big toe.
I think a nice rusty trombone.
It's just me. I was telling him about our massage place, too.
Talk to your girl about that.
You have band-aids? I'm like, no. The Malaysian women will put their bush on your head.
It's a no-go. It's a definite no-go. Ever. Not even hey, how about even with a dental day?
Not even meet you halfway there.
Meet me halfway. Lick my ass. You lick my ass.
The best thing ever when I at some one point got it to the point where she was like, I used to jam a finger in my ass. I was like, yeah!
That works.
Finger in my ass and blow me. I was like, that's nice. And then all of a sudden it was like, never again. I was like,
What the hell, man?
not even on my
Give her the
birthday.
She's got to give you the old Tom thumb. Stick in the thumb, pull out a plum. Hello.
Hi.
You finished.
Thank God I put my pants back on.
Yeah. It's a good thing you aren't having an orgy.
Ew.
I usually
Not
not.
that we wouldn't invite you.
I
but
usually what?
Not that we wouldn't invite you to
You
watch
wouldn't.
the door.
I usually yell and tell them I'm
No, we would
coming
just
down
get you to
or
watch the door.
not.
So if anybody else tried to come in, it's like $5.
I'm going over to Nicole's to get meat,
Oh boy.
to get stuff for the freezer. I made room in mine because I have a lot of old bread. I say bread and shit. You have room in your freezer, right?
Yeah, I
You want some meat? You don't eat meat, I know. Something smells like it's burning.
I just blew out my
It was a
candle.
candle.
Oh, you blew it out. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why. Usually it smells so nice in here. Who could believe you usually don't have any? Oh, we still could fit some stuff. I just gotta see how much we could fit.
I mean, there's definitely some stuff we can toss out of there.
Do you want some meat? Depends on how cute he is.
She said, "Oh, I cooked."
There's so much stuff in your freezer.
This could be
I
straightened.
went shopping.
It could be straightened a
The
lot.
burrito's
better.
mine.
Huh?
Eat your burrito.
No, don't eat your burrito.
Wow.
See, the burrito's mine.
I never saw his fridge so full.
I only spent $1.50 too. I got some good stuff.
$1.50.
Huh?
Let me see what she's talking about anyway. She said,
I want to
"Oh,
try this one because I haven't
made
tried this
meatloaf
steakless
for my
ranchero
cousin."
vegan burrito.
What is it, just beans?
I know, it
No,
just
it's
means you.
Oh, she made a meatloaf.
She
grilled
made meatloaf.
steakless
She
strips
cooked a lot of
with
meat, too.
dairy-free spicy cheddar and onions and
And they'll be
ranchero
here,
salsa.
so they-
Did they say they're coming?
I don't know. I still
I do the old put it in for a minute,
I'm still.
then turn it over, put it in for a minute again, wait
I'll
for the
be
bag
back.
to pop.
Okay,
Whenever.
I'll be here.
Whenever. If
Okay.
you're not
I'll still be queer.
I'll be here. I'll be here overnight.
in
I will
an
let
hour,
you here.
I'll be queer forever.
if I'm back in an hour,
I've been hanging my best all day.
That's right.
if I sit down, I won't
Just
go.
hanging out watching porn.
I could have went from there.
Yeah.
Where's your cardboard?
We
Nice to
need
meet you.
this light going on in the garage. It's not showing on.
I know. Well, we need those long.
No, she would hit me if anything.
Said move the treadmill.
John, you got a bigger ass than I do.
We all know about the
God,
fat ass.
supper. I'll smack it.
Right.
At least he has an ass. You don't
I know, I'm so jealous.
It's
I'm like, I
fucking-
got a little fucking like,
It's the fatak ass.
I got a
It's
little
like-
fucking like baby butt.
It's like
just
that
a little-
scene in.
My balls, like there's fucking.
That's a you problem.
Oh, it's
It's
totally
like that line in Sleepaway Camp. My ass is a carpenter's dream. Flat as a board, it needs a good screw.